Greetings, everyone. This is Jed Schlackman. I'm a holistic counselor and energy healer. And for this video, I want to speak about the topic of pain and sort of the general societal and cultural preoccupation with avoiding pain, and those efforts to avoid pain often having a pathological effect, an effect where it actually perpetuates pain or illness or disturbance of some kind, or creates additional pain or additional issues in our lives. So when we're in the short term trying to suppress something, often we're just perpetuating it for the long term. We're not actually bringing about any healing or resolution. We're not bringing things back into balance or into a state of health and wholeness. We can consider different aspects of our culture and how they reinforce that idea that we should always try to avoid pain and what the implications of that are. You can even think back to the time when you're a child, and if you're a child and you start to cry, often people around you may tell you to not cry, to not feel okay with expressing what you're feeling, with processing that emotion. You might be called a crybaby. You might be told to just kind of suck it up and go forward with things rather than taking the time to actually feel what you're feeling, to release that emotion, whether it's through crying or some other means. That's an example with emotional pain. Of course, with physical pain, in our modern culture, most people are conditioned to take some type of drug or medication to somehow suppress or numb pain. So people take Advil and aspirin and Tylenol. People use things like morphine and oxycodone and fentanyl and all these different suppressive type chemicals that in some way are sedating your nervous system, anesthetizing you in a sense so that you won't feel something. However, if we think about pain and its function physically and emotionally, it's there kind of as a signal, as an indicator. It's showing us that there is some form of injury, and with that injury some form of repair process that's being carried out, or that the body or psyche is attempting to carry out. So if you have a physical injury, if you cut or bruise yourself, if the tissue is damaged, usually you'll initially feel some pain there, and while you're feeling that, your body is carrying out activity to start to repair and protect that area. So the pain is something that is generated with the nervous system, but the nervous system is also communicating with these other systems, other cells in your body, to carry out that repair process. If you put too much effort into suppressing the pain, not only might you be temporarily at least cutting off the pain, you may also be suppressing the repair process. It might slow that down. It might take your body longer to repair things as you're continually using some type of a painkiller medicine. The same principle actually applies with our emotional pain. So the more we suppress what we're feeling, the less opportunity we have to process those emotions, to do something constructive, to release them, or to resolve the source of them, whether it's that we're in some social situation or environment that's abusive to us that we need to leave and get away from. Well, if we're just suppressing our feelings, we might not really be paying attention to them and what they're trying to tell us or alert us to. It could also be our own belief systems, our own thoughts about things that are in some way unhealthy or dysfunctional. And if we don't allow ourselves to feel that emotion that we're feeling, we might not reflect on our thoughts, our beliefs, our perception of things in our life. So we're actually missing the opportunity to grow as a person, to find more balance in our consciousness, since we're not paying attention to our feelings. We're just grabbing some kind of medication. It could be an anti-anxiety medication, an antidepressant, something that takes our awareness away from what our own system, our own mind-body system is trying to bring to our attention. That includes both prescription medicines and recreational drugs. People often say that when someone is using alcohol or marijuana or smoking cigarettes, other forms of recreational drugs, that they're self-medicating, that they're attempting to shift what they're feeling by using that chemical substance. But the principle is really the same when you're using prescription medicines. You're using a chemical substance to override whatever you're feeling or experiencing. But the effect is short-lived. Once that wears off, whatever was creating that feeling, that signal in the first place, likely hasn't changed. So situations in your life probably haven't changed. Your lifestyle, so your exercise, your sleep habits, your diet and nutrition, those things haven't been addressed. And if we think about what's creating a feeling or sensation, there's all those different factors and causes there that might be involved that we might need to address. But if all you do is take a chemical to override or suppress what you're feeling, then you're not going to usually address whatever was the cause or causes. So it's kind of a brief escape, and by doing that, you're often just perpetuating things, and you're also adding additional stress to your body. Any chemical substance you're using that suppresses pain usually has some toxic qualities to it, particularly the greater the dose. So you're putting extra stress on your body, which could actually add to pain, discomfort, inflammation, etc. that occurs in your body, even though for the short term you might feel or experience less symptoms. After that initial short-term effect, the long-term effect could actually be an increase in pain or other symptoms of distress in your body, since you're adding stress to your body. This is important to realize if you're looking for long-term health and well-being. Sometimes we're in a state of acute distress, acute pain, where we want to use something for the short term to give ourselves relief so we're not overwhelmed with pain. That's understandable, and the purpose here is not to judge or condemn anyone for seeking that relief. It's very natural for us to seek relief from pain, but our short-term impulses often lead to harmful long-term outcomes if we're not able to kind of slow down and pause and find different approaches to handling pain, learning perhaps to be present with pain, to not feel overwhelmed by it, to be able to allow it to flow through your body, to understand what it is. It's just this natural part of our physiological reaction to some type of stress, some type of injury, some form of pressure or discomfort that's occurring, to not look at pain as something bad that we have to avoid or suppress, to see it as something that has a value and purpose. So even if we do feel that we temporarily need to get a relief from the pain through a kind of chemical quick fix, that we can start to develop or apply other methods of handling and processing pain that will allow us to be able to actually handle more pain and to address whatever the actual causes or roots of that pain are, so that those causes can be resolved, so we won't need to continue feeling that pain. We can address the cause, we can support whatever healing process needs to occur, and therefore for the long term we will actually experience much less pain or discomfort, less suffering in our life by getting at those causes rather than just trying to temporarily delay the pain. We can actually resolve things that create pain. If you are using any form of medication, any chemical substances to give yourself some brief relief from pain, don't condemn yourself for that. Don't feel guilty or ashamed about it. Acknowledge the situation and acknowledge that you have the power to develop other ways of relating to pain, shifting your relationship with pain so that it's not overwhelming you. It's not something that you have to kind of reflexively avoid, especially reflexively avoiding it with drugs or chemicals that could have adverse effects, especially if you're using them long term, where they can create dependencies and imbalances in your body. Our body has its own intelligence. It's generating pain for a reason, for its own purpose. Our body is also seeking to heal things, to bring itself back into balance, back into its state of wholeness. So it's helpful to respect and trust and appreciate your body, not to judge it, not to reject your body for the fact that it's creating or generating the sensation of pain. It actually has an intelligence there. It has a wisdom to what it's doing. It's not trying to hurt you or make you suffer. It's actually trying to protect itself and to heal itself, so you can work more in harmony with your body rather than trying to suppress what your body's chemistry and physiology and communication system is creating at any particular time. As we're able to do this more, both on an individual and collective level, we will be able to face the things that are creating pain or distress and create long-term solutions. We won't just put a little band-aid over something to pretend it's not there. We can actually pause and observe things. We can feel and experience the pain or distress, but then look at the situation in its context, look at things systematically to understand what's going on and what can be done to facilitate healing, to produce a long-term positive or pleasant outcome. I hope that this discussion has given you some guidance or insight. And for those that are interested in holistic health and well-being, I invite you to view my website, which is phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. For now, I wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.